The game has completely changed. Everything we kind of thought about YouTube prior to 2020 is way behind us. And this is the guy that wrote YouTube Secrets with Sean Cannell.
Welcome back, everybody. If you've ever contemplated making your own YouTube channel but thought it might be too difficult, think again. A new book called YouTube Secrets.
I almost kind of want to rip up the book and be like, don't worry about any of that.
You have a family vlog channel with 1.8 million subscribers. Your own channel has over 400,000 subscribers. How do you grow a vlogging channel today? What actually works?
If I were to pick the horse you want to bet on, longer videos. I remember like taking my laptop, running up the stairs and showing Judy's like, this hour-long video got 1 million views. This shouldn't work. There's a small window of opportunity to take advantage of what I call the new era of YouTube, which is the TV era. I actually think that vlogging is coming back, but it's different. I'm telling you, there's a whole world out there of people with only 10,000 subscribers, even less than that are just yapping and they're making money and they're becoming full-time creators.
Would you show me how much you made in AdSense the past 30 days? Grand. And you've done, I would guess, millions in brand deals.
For sure. We were doing 7 figures of brand deals year after year after year.
If you were to really just give your best advice to someone starting out, what would that advice be? This conversation with Benjj is super interesting because we talk about the new era of YouTube. It's longer videos, but also the return of vlogging. And Benjj actually has a program on how to vlog. I checked it out. It's super cool. He shows you how to shoot your vlogs, come up with ideas, edit your vlogs, and really grow a YouTube channel and a vlogging YouTube channel. And so as you watch this, if that sounds interesting to you, I have an affiliate link in the description you can check out. But I think you guys are going to love this video with Benjj. And if you enjoy this new format, consider subscribing and clicking that little button. And I will see you guys next week with some more videos like this. Enjoy the conversation. I think you've been on YouTube since 2010, maybe earlier, but
2008.
2008. So you're an OG YouTuber.
17 years.
Your wife has over 1 million subscribers. Like, you guys are the definition of YouTubers and have been doing it as long as anyone has been. What I think is super cool is a lot of the OG YouTubers have kind of fallen off, but you guys, I think, have just continued to make it work somehow. When I look at your channel, it feels like the dream. Because I'm like, you don't got to set up a studio. You pull out your DJI Osmo, your iPhone, like that. It feels easy. There's not crazy editing. You don't have to like script out anything. Like, I think for a lot of people, they just wish they could make a living vlogging.
Yeah.
And so I want to know what's different now with vlogging that doesn't work when you started.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And of course, you brought up my wife who got us into YouTube. I used to laugh at her when she was setting up her camera on shoe boxes for her first tripod, saying you're wasting your time. And literally 6 months later, she's getting free makeup sent to her and, you know, she's getting paid. I was broke at the time, so it's like kind of like hypocritical of me to be like, hey, what are you doing? This is not going to end up being anything for you. And so fast forward a few years, I'm in it 100% supportive. I'm starting my own channel, so I'm becoming a creator. We didn't even say YouTuber yet in the very beginning. And that's kind of when our vlog channel started. So it was supposed to be a behind the scenes throwaway channel. Okay, that's what's so crazy. I was the one that told her to start it so that it didn't mess with her clean, beauty branded It's Judy Time main channel.
The fact that you had the insight then, though, to separate the content onto a new channel was genius, because most people still today don't do that. We'll get into that later, but I'm like, even the intuition back then to be like, hey, we're gonna do this, but like it's got to be on a new channel, I think is like kind of genius that you knew that.
Well, I appreciate you calling me a genius, but I wasn't even thinking of it strategically like that. For the secondary channel, Judy just wanted to put up more authentic content that she was having fun with, and I was just like protecting the first channel. I was the one that recommended the second channel, but what's even more hilarious, I was the one that named it It's Judy's Life, right? I said, hey, this is your life. You can put whatever, and this is before I knew it was going to be a vlogging channel. So in 2011, she was watching another daily vlogger, Sam Sherman. I still remember her. We're still friends with her and her family. and she had quit. So she just stopped daily vlogging, and Judy was kind of like shocked, and it was something that she was watching every single day because this girl was uploading. So she thought, you know what? Since Sam's not vlogging and it's Vlogtober, right? October, vlog every day in October. Let me just start. And at that point, she was just uploading random stuff on this channel. It was called It's Judy's Life, but it wasn't something she was pushing hard. And so this Vlogtober challenge was an appropriate way to just like start like formally vlogging. But still, it was just for fun. It was supposed to be 30 days. Everyone loved it. And it wasn't getting as many views as her main channel, but it was slowly, steadily growing and getting more views with every single upload. At the end of 31 days, basically, she didn't stop, okay? That was the end of 2011, and what was crazy about it is we didn't think it would completely take over her life, but slowly it was becoming more significant. So she was doing both the beauty videos on It's Judy Time and then the daily vlogs on It's Judy's Life. And I was all in too. In fact, the early intro is called It's Judy's Life. It's me just like in the living room saying it. I was like, yeah, maybe we could have like an intro. I was saying it jokingly, and it's become our intro for the last 15 years of vlogging. So why that whole story is significant in terms of the old way of vlogging and what you're saying is not working today is because that was the beginning of that vlogging era where vlogging went from a vlog, right? A video blog to that vlogging format that we all grew up with.
Can I pause you for a sec? Because I think a lot of people, maybe the younger crowd, they're like, they don't even know what a blog is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you say video blog, I think what I think of the old school vlogging that worked for you guys back then and still works for certain people now is basically just like selfie video day in the life.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's essentially what you were just literally filming everything. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. And so, no, it's a good question. So a blog is written form. It's a website that you just shared your thoughts, maybe posted up your recipe, or maybe talked about your day. And so a video blog is just a video version of it. That's really what YouTube was at the very beginning. But it switched in 5 years, from 2011 to 2016. Vlogging became a thing. And the vlogging at the time was you vlogged your whole day. So it wasn't like a specific thing that you're vlogging about. You being famous, right? So Judy had a huge audience. People like Casey Neistat already had, a bunch of subscribers. Now you're kind of vlogging for them, and they were already invested in you. So they just want to see everything behind the scenes and everything you were going to share. But that was what vlogging was to literally the whole community of viewers on YouTube. And that didn't last forever because it just got super competitive, kind of got played out. Now, what was funny about the whole thing is, people say like vlogging was starting to die. Judy and I just kept vlogging the whole time.
Yeah.
And so if you fast forward to today, I actually think that vlogging is coming back, but it's different. And one of the number one mistakes people are making is they're trying to vlog that old way. That's why I shared that whole story, because if you don't have context of the early vloggers did daily vlogs because they already had an audience, and then they're vlogging their whole day because those people are already interested, invested in you. This new way of vlogging is you don't want to do that. In fact, nobody cares because that old way of vlogging isn't what people are watching. It's a new style of vlog, which kind of goes back to the OG days of YouTube, which was a video blog, which obviously we can get into. But the new way of vlogging is completely different.
And it's not just for famous people anymore. It's not just for influencers anymore. But I would say this, and this is going to lead us into like what works today. But, people are watching this and hearing your story, right? They're like, of course it worked because you already had a following. And so people they get cynical, and they think it won't work for them because no one knows them. Let me say it this way. Vlogging's not going to work for you if no one knows you and the vlogs are just about you. Like, why would someone watch a day in the life of Nolan Molt if you don't know who I am?
Yeah.
Why would you click on that video? And then maybe you could make it interesting, but still, even the title, the thumbnail is all about day in the life living in Kennewick, Washington. Who cares to watch that when I could watch day in the life of my favorite YouTuber, my favorite influencer? And so that's what I think is awesome about what you're doing now is even in your YouTube studio analytics, you have new viewers coming every single day to your channel that literally don't know who you are. And I think it's genius. So let's break down.
Yeah.
How do you grow a vlogging channel today? What actually works? Like, where do you begin?
Yeah, and I have to tell you another story about what's changed in the last 5 years that brought us to this new demand for this new style of vlogging, okay? And I break it down to probably 3 things. Number one, you know, what happened and one of the reasons why the old way of vlogging kind of got old and played out is because people were using so many different apps, right? Instagram, TikTok, and the content was getting shorter and shorter. Our attention span wasn't the same as it used to be. And also the algorithm was so good. And so that's number one. The algorithm is so good at getting us the content we're interested in that we want to watch, regardless if we're following them or subscribing to them. So the amount of subscribers didn't matter. So remember what I said about the old way of vlogging. Your subscribers from your main channel is really the base of your views for your vlogs, okay? But that didn't matter. In fact, people that were famous were still vlogging, but not getting the same amount of views. Secondly, there is a kind of tendency for people to watch shorter and shorter videos because, you know, it's getting right to the point. Think about recipes. You know, when I first started doing recipes on my channel, they were like 10, 12, maybe 14 minutes. And then as shorts came out to scene, they got shorter and shorter and shorter. So what happened was TikTok was born, and obviously everyone loves TikTok. But people were getting, what do they call it? Brain rot from the death scroll of watching short form content. So it's not just TikTok, it's also Reels and Shorts. And
now Sora 2 just launched its own social media platform, literally just AI brain rot videos.
So that's gonna,
endlessly.
That's going to prove my point even more so and make vlogging even more significant. I'll tell you why afterwards. So the second part of it is this. There was a demand for the opposite of shorts, which was longer videos. So people were looking for something different because they were literally putting down TikTok. They were like, hey, I don't want this short form content anymore. And they wanted that longer video style. Okay. And the third thing that happened, and I think this is like the big reveal for me in the last year, the television. The television was never a thing that we ever took seriously. And secondly, it wasn't even a device we ever thought that YouTube
People
would
watch
be
YouTube,
on.
yeah.
Okay, so you know,
it seems obvious now, though, right?
Seems obvious now, but
real quick, can I show you this? So this was posted like last year. Okay, so this is Netflix and YouTube, and this is when YouTube crossed in watch time on television more than Netflix.
Yeah,
I remember it blew people's minds, and I updated this chart with today's stats.
Yeah.
And you can just see like how far ahead YouTube is continuing to go above Netflix. And this one's even crazier. YouTube is the #1 most watched platform on TV, video platform on TV.
Yes.
Look how far ahead it is from every single competitor.
Yeah, Netflix, Amazon Prime, right? Paramount, HBO, Hulu, all of those. So by the way, the TV thing is just the beginning of like what I call the new era. But the reason the television is significant is even in YouTube Secrets, Sean and I were talking about optimizing your edits, right? Really taking out the fluff. All that to shorten your videos for a smaller device because that's what people want to watch, okay? So the television, what happened was it was almost not even planned out. It was based off of circumstance. COVID, pandemic, lockdowns, everyone's at home, okay? People are sitting on their couch again and watching the TV. the Chromecast and the TV apps are getting better. So as you're just sitting there and wanting to watch content that's opposite of that shorter form on the television, the longer videos get even more significant. So how many times, Nolan, have you ever watched YouTube on the TV?
Every day.
Every single day. How many times have you decided what you're going to watch, set aside the autoplay, right? And determine, I want to watch this because it's the right length versus like one that's shorter and it's like, that's not going to fit this situation.
Yeah. I only watch long form content on the TV.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this. If you open up, any of us watching, you and I open up our phone right now, homepage is going to open right away, which is YouTube recommending content to you. You get a different algorithm, different recommendations on your TV. So, and it's really smart, and it's proving your point that long form content will continue to do better. And we're going to talk about how to do that with vlogs.
Yes.
But long form content is going to continue to do better because here's another stat. YouTube is watched more on television than mobile phones in the US. The CEO of YouTube just talked about that in his latest YouTube report. And so if you want to hop on this trend, make longer form content, and it's going to show up on the TV, because when I go downstairs in the morning and I open up my TV, I have two things. I have podcasts that I will click on and watch, or I'll have, specifically in the morning, like worship music. So I have worship music, boom, play it. And that's what I listen to in the morning. And then it knows in the evening, it gives me a different algorithm, because I'm not listening to worship music in the evening. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm watching maybe kind of a documentary style, whatever. Or like my wife will put on a vlog, and she watches more of those long form vlogs. Yeah. But basically long form content, because of this trend, is going to get more impressions.
Yes. So let's do the math here. Okay. Number one, the algorithm is so good, it's going to suggest what you want, even if you're not searching for it because of your interests. Okay. That wasn't as powerful 10 years ago. Secondly, there's this demand for longer content, long form, like really extreme long form, because it's a contrast to the brain rot, death scroll, short form. It's still going to be a thing, right? You know, shorts are going to be around, TikTok's going to be around, Instagram Reels, okay? And then third, people want and are watching tons of content on the television, but as creators, we never were creating content for that viewing behavior. I mean, whenever I did lives back in the day or interview people, I always say, hey, make sure you look at your thumbnails and your titles and you watch your videos on your phone, because that's how people are watching. So even me, the so-called expert that's been doing this, you know, like experienced, you know, everything on YouTube for 17 years, could have never imagined this huge screen, right? 55 inches, probably like the average size, but like think about bigger. So if you understand that, vlogs are perfect for it, but not because it's the only type of content people are watching on the television, or that you can make longer videos, or that is catering to this new algorithm, because it's easy to create longer videos through a vlog. My thing, and this kind of goes back to what I said to you before we did the interview, why your history is perfectly positioned for this. You know, some of the people that are crushing it the most with long form content are from the film and TV industry, because they understand long form, like true long form. So we're talking 20 plus minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 and 3 hours. So their brain works that way, versus, remember, when you went into YouTube, it's a whole different kind of thinking. It's a whole different strategy. What I'm saying is that whole game is in play on YouTube now, and it's going to start creeping in. But right now, people are sleeping on it. So vloggers have a window. There's a small window of opportunity to take advantage of what I call the new era of YouTube, which is the TV era. And that's why vloggers are popping off again, even if they don't even know they're vlogging for this new era. They're just doing it. And actually, the quick story is, there's like, they call it the new wave of YouTube, right? New wave of creators. And it happened during the pandemic, during lockdown, who didn't like short form. So they're just like, F it. We're going to do long videos, but we're not going to edit them. We're just going to leave it kind of raw. And those were the early videos that I saw that was like, this is different. I remember like taking my laptop, running up the stairs and showing Judy's like, this hour-long video got 1 million views. This shouldn't work. She goes, I know, it's crazy. It's like they're just like in the forest, like, you know, chopping wood. Like, how is this getting 1 million views? That was the beginning of all those 3 factors coming into play. The TV, demand for longer videos, and the algorithm becoming so powerful. And that's why vlogs are perfect for both the beginner and the seasoned creator that wants to go from short form to long form content.
So let's start then with someone's like, I want to try vlogging. Let's start with where to even start in the first place. And I like to always think about title, thumbnail first. I don't know if that's something you do with your vlogs. I'd be curious to know, kind of like for you right now, you're vlogging every single day.
Yep.
Where does the process begin? And actually, maybe before you think about your video idea for the day, let's take a step back, because there's a mistake people make, which is they're filming their everyday life, and every day is different. And so it's like someone clicks maybe for this like grocery shopping haul, but then like, awesome, subscribe next. The next video is like going to the movies with my friends. Like, what?
Yeah. And so this goes to the old way of vlogging and the new way of vlogging. Generally speaking, the old way, and you know, we already talked about, you used to have to be famous, have an audience, and then you show your behind the scenes or your whole day. That is dead. Okay. And if you're new, it's even more so difficult, right? Like you said, like no one cares about your day yet. The new way is this: you're vlogging specific things. You're vlogging around someone's interests. And this is why you don't have to be known to get a good amount of views on your vlogs, because the algorithm, this is why I talked about those 3 factors, the algorithm will get these videos in front of people. So instead of vlogging your whole day, you're vlogging one part of your day that's around a topic that people care about. Now, to speak to your like kind of more like branding, right? Like what you want to be known for and not mixing. I kind of break it down to the 3 T's new method of vlogging. You want me to talk about it? And so to put all of it together, number 1, the old way, you were just vlogging, you know, for everybody, right? About your life. The new way, the first T, is you're going to have a theme for your vlog channel. So this is what you want to be known for. So rather than just being a guy that's living my life, I'm going to be a guy that's gardening in my backyard. That's your theme. You're also, under that theme, is you're going to be creating for a specific person. Beginner gardeners, right? People that love gardening at home, backyard gardens, whatever that is. You're going to define both what you want to be known for and the type of people that you want to connect with. And the other part of theme is what type of content you're going to create, right? So you're really isolating it to a specific, what we would have called niche before, but it doesn't have to be that specific. It can be a little bit more broad. So you can just say gardening in general, versus before we would have said like organic gardening, right? Or tomato plants or whatever. Second T is having a topic and takeaway for your vlogs. See, the old way, you were vlogging everything, okay? So from beginning of your morning all the way to when you go to sleep and everything in between. There's no value for somebody, especially if you're an unknown person. The new way is have a topic or takeaway that falls underneath the theme. So if the theme of your channel is gardening, now you're going to pick what are topics that the gardeners or the amateur at-home gardeners want to learn about that falls under my theme. So this could be tomatoes, right? This could be fertilizer. This could be, you know, techniques for watering, but in a vlog style again. And
how do you find those topics?
Yeah,
what's your process for
to
that?
find those topics? I mean, the quickest, easiest way, there's 2 ways. Number 1, you have to pick a theme that you're interested in, you're competent in, you're confident in, maybe you're obsessed with. So you should be able to have top 10 questions that either you asked when you first started gardening, or the people you want to reach out to or want to be your viewers would ask you, and make a vlog around it.
Ideally, and maybe this goes back to like the choosing the topic, but it's like, find something you're already doing, right? I'm already setting up these cameras. I'm already having, like, me and you whether we set up these cameras or not, we're gonna have the same conversation
Yeah.
because we do on the phone. And
Yeah.
so it's like, like you love to cook, so
Yeah.
you just document. And I think that is so much easier when you can just document instead of create. And a lot of people, it's like, you don't have to try and vlog I need to go like surprise my best friend with
Yeah.
like what is something that you do? Like you said, if you're gardening every day,
Yeah.
then that could be perfect.
I mean, this was kind of interesting. The appeal of vlogging is you're vlogging your life and what you already do. Now we're just really like defining that thing that you're going to vlog about. And it definitely and absolutely needs to be something that you're already doing, or you may not be doing as much, but you want to do more. Okay. And so, yeah, that's going to be for your
And then you
theme.
don't have to vlog your entire day.
No, you don't have your vlog.
And don't vlog your entire day.
One of the reasons this new method works, right? The second T, topic and takeaway, is so important is because you're only recording the things that relate to that thing that you're vlogging about, right? So say I'm the gardener and today, you know what? I'm just going to vlog about why I grow cherry tomatoes. It seems so specific and it seems like, there's not enough to vlog. But if you're a gardener and you love tomatoes, I can promise you there's gardeners out there that can relate to this, could talk about cherry tomatoes for an hour. And that's the point. Because there's enough people out there that's also into gardening, that's also obsessed with cherry tomatoes and would just talk about cherry tomatoes. We just haven't allowed ourselves to do that. I'll tell you a story of like how I even came up with the 3 T's, which explains a very thing that you're talking about. You know, Judy and I, we've been vlogging forever, okay? And so I'm the token husband, like I know I'm like a bigger part of her thing than just a token husband. But I'll sometimes in the past go to the grocery store and, record 20 minutes of content. And then I give that 20 minutes to Judy. And that's, part of like 60 minutes of content she'll have in her timeline. And then my 20 minutes turns into a 20-second spot inside of the It's Judy's Life family vlog. And I've been okay with it. But I remember pushing that cart and thinking, I'm recording 20 minutes that could potentially be a vlog by itself. And that was 10 years ago, 2015. And I'm thinking, I bet you there's other people that are into food that would totally watch my 20-minute vlog about me shopping for groceries at this. It was a natural foods co-op. So it's like a health food store. And I just didn't do it. 5-6 years later, Sam Solik pops up. And if you don't know who Sam Solik is, big buff guy, goes to the gym. His #1 viewed video is him shopping at a grocery store for protein heavy ingredients and foods. And it's got 4 million views on it. And that's it. No editing, by the way. The question is this: why did that video that has nothing to do with the gym do so well? It falls under that same concept. People that go to the gym and want to get big muscles, what do they do to get big muscles? They either work out or they eat the right things or they do both. So the topic of that video was, these are all the protein heavy foods I buy to get big. So even though it doesn't seem like that would fit in a gym channel, it does, because it's a topic that his audience under his theme cares about. By the way, I didn't think all this when I saw him. I was just like, oh my gosh, how is this guy getting millions of views doing the thing I wanted to do, right? So that's how I started my new vlogging method. My first vlog was going to the grocery store, and I was like, I'm not giving any of this content to Judy. I'm just going to put it up. And that's how I came up with this new vlog method. But this is a way to explain how, like, literally I was doing it the wrong way forever. And then when I did the thing that instinctually I thought was of interest to other people, it worked. And it was actually getting more views than anything else I had uploaded on my food channel before that.
I want to help somebody because they see you or Sam Solik and they're like, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert gardener. So how can I'm not going to talk about these cherry tomatoes because I've just started last summer. I want to encourage the people out there to, if you're not an expert, don't pretend to be one. Literally document your journey.
Yeah.
Because you can, it's still just, I would argue it's more interesting, but it's also still so valuable and so relatable to the other people who are like, I'm just going to start a garden. This is day one. And like people want to watch that, because they want a garden too, or maybe they are. And so I just want to encourage someone thinking like, I'm not the expert at the thing I want to do. I'm not very good at this thing.
Yeah.
That's okay. Be open about that. And be like, I'm not going to start a fitness channel, but I might, if I want to publicly go, I want to drop down to 12% body fat. And like, I'm openly like just documenting the journey. I'm not pretending to be an expert. You'd be surprised how many people will watch that journey.
So this brings us to the third T, which is telling stories. Okay. So most people think, oh, I'm going to tell a story like a speaker on stage or like a teacher, talking about history. I mean, those two things can totally happen. But what I mean by telling the story, it's like, tell your story. The story can just be stating your opinion and telling people why. So when you talk about like, you don't have to be an expert, my wife, when she first started doing YouTube, she was in the beauty space. Most of the other beauty gurus, they call them that in 2008, 9, and 10, they were all professional makeup artists, but not my wife. She was complete amateur. She just did it at home. She didn't even do other people's makeup. So she totally would have fallen into the, imposter syndrome. Oh, I'm not like these. Or am I going to act like an expert? It was the fact that she wasn't an expert that was appealing. She was the girl next door. And because she wasn't a professional, she wasn't making a lot of money, she had to buy her a makeup at the drugstore. And people related to that. So telling your story is kind of telling your honest story. So you definitely don't want to act like an expert, because guess what? Say you act like an expert and then people find out like, oh, this is really bad information. It's not good. So it's better to just be like upfront, like, hey, I'm gardening for the first time. And well, even if you're vlogging the journey, that's also kind of appealing, but you're going to lean into the story. Why are you gardening, right? What is the reason for you gardening? What are your opinions on like different techniques of gardening? Of course, that can go endless different directions, but the point is this: you're telling stories that relate to that topic and takeaway and fall under your theme. You know what I'm saying? And so that is kind of basis. So yes, this is for everybody. Now, this is what's funny. People would still argue, oh no, amateurs aren't going to make it. Or, if you're a beginner, you know what's nuts? Some of my most successful students with the new vlogging method are complete beginners, not only at the thing that they're talking about, but at YouTube. They're like doing laps around me. I have one student who got 100,000 views in their first month, okay, on one video. And that video is up to 350,000 views. And they had lost 100 pounds, right, on their weight loss journey. So they're definitely not an expert. They're still on their journey. And they just wanted to talk about one topic. And the topic happened to be like why cheat day is a lie or something like that. Okay. And just filmed it in their car. Just filmed it in the car. One take. Almost no editing. And that's a good example of someone that's not an expert, just giving their take on something, stating their opinion, and sharing why. And that's interesting because it's relatable. See, the thing that we lost about YouTube is as people became successful and people started making money, other people want to make money and be successful. So you had actual experts. Casey Neistat is like an expert at YouTube because he was in the film industry before, right? He's kind of like you, like he had a little bit of experience. So what happens is it's the beginning of the end. Then it gets super competitive. Everyone's jumping in. When Judy first started in 2008, it was all amateurs. It was all like beginners, except for, of course, the professionals that were in the makeup. But the point is this: it was your relatability that made you into a superstar, and we lost all of that. And then we became overly produced content creators, and that's inevitably what created TikTok and made YouTube shorts and reels, and actually created a whole world of YouTube. And then slowly but surely, all the beginners, right? All the people that didn't take themselves too seriously, didn't think about imposter syndrome, was just vlogging their story, became superstars secretly, and now it's happening. Basically, this is what I'll tell you, Nolan. 2025 is a repeat of 2005 because of those three things. And guess what people want the most? They just want to relate to other people. So if you're an amateur or a beginner, that's a strength, as long as you don't act like an expert or somebody that knows what they're talking about. There's something almost like endearing about like somebody like fumbling through something and just letting it all out there. But just be very honest with yourself, who you are and what you're doing, rather than trying to be something you're not. And then it's like hard, because I'm going to ask you an honest question. Yeah. Is it easier for you, Nolan, to be genuinely yourself or to try to be something you're not?
It's always easier to be yourself. It's hard to do that on camera, but it's always easier to be yourself 100%.
Okay, let's talk about this. You said it's hard to be genuinely yourself, right? Is it easier to be somebody else on camera at the same time? Which one would you pick?
No, I'd rather be myself.
100%, because you don't have to act. You don't have to do it. That makes vlogging easy, because you can be yourself. What happened was we had to put on a certain persona. We had to be a type of person that we're not, because that was the whole competition. Well, now the competition is gone. And that's what I'm saying about this one window of opportunity. There's a demand for this style of content, but it won't be forever, because there will be a Casey Neistat that comes into this space and creates highly produced content.
So... But I'll push back on that.
Okay.
Because I think what you're talking about, relatability for sure, is one of the biggest advantages anyone watching this can take and apply to their YouTube channel to grow. And I think about the first YouTube channel I ever watched that I was a super fan of. I'm talking, I watched every single video. I knew it came out every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Like, I don't know if anyone else has one of those or used to have one of those. Like, why I thought back, why did I love his content and watch it for years every single week? And it came down to, as I thought about it, it was a filmmaking channel. And he was around the same age as me, young guy, had the same camera as me. It was relatable. He was learning. He was buying lights. He was setting up shots. He was doing what I want to do. And he was not an expert, but he became one and literally documented the process, not through vlogs necessarily, but like it was relatable because I had that too. I had that camera too.
Why do you say it wasn't vlogs?
It wasn't in the format of shooting it selfie video vlog style.
That's that old definition, right? What I'm saying, the new definition of vlogs is whatever style you want that's relatable. So it could be a talking head video in a car, or it could be something you're, filming yourself in a grocery store. So the reason I bring that up is this is one of the people think it has to be this vlog style. What is that? That's why I bring up video blog. It's whatever style you want to shoot in.
I see.
So anyways, keep going with your story.
I get your point, because you could argue this is a vlog. We are documenting. I mean, it's obviously shot podcast style. Yeah. And so there's different formats and totally. But I get your point. And I think I think you could argue, that channel was vlogs but in a talking head kind of setup way, for sure. I think though there's relatability, but I think every single creator needs to ask, and this is me pushing back against highly produced content, is ask, why is someone watching my video? Why does someone come to my channel? Yeah. And I like to use the word value. And I think if you can just focus on creating value, but first understanding what is the value, that's how you get people to watch a 3-hour long video, an hour-long podcast, or whatever. It comes down to value. And I think for sure there's some channels, I've watched some channels and the value is in the editing, the storytelling, the fast pace, whatever, and the highly cinematic stuff, for sure. But a lot of the YouTube channels I love, and a lot of the people that my wife, she watches a lot of vlogs, my wife does. And it's because the value is not in the camera they're using. It's not in the editing. It's not in any of that stuff. It's that relatability could be valuable, information, sharing past experiences, being open and honest. There's all sorts of different ways. You know, are you motivating people? Are you teaching someone? Are you trying to entertain them? Those are all very different things. And you got to figure out, is your channel trying to entertain someone, educate someone, do both of them? And really think like, why are people watching it? And I want you to tell me your thoughts on that, but also like you just posted a video with no editing. So it's like, why? It's asking, why would someone watch this? There's clearly value in it.
Yeah. So I think that, again, you're falling into these old definitions. Like, for example, the most overstated thing when it comes to YouTube advice is, what is the value proposition of your channel? Okay, I don't disagree with you that there's a value, but I'm gonna like paint it in a different perspective. Okay, are there people in your life that have similar interests to you, that when you talk to them, you could talk to them for hours?
Oh yeah, me and you.
Me and you. Okay, do you and I, when we get together, do we look like, okay, what's the value proposition I'm going to bring to this conversation? What am I going to say that's going to really make, Nolan want to talk to me even longer? Do you ever think that when you're going to approach me to talk to me? Of course, an interview is a little bit different, but I'm saying, like, say we're just going to... No, we don't. Okay? This is where I'm making it way easier. I'm making it so easy for people because I don't want people what value am I bringing to the table to stop them from creating content? Because my point is this: you probably already have a lot of value that you bring organically to a relationship, a family or a friend, right? Or have you ever met somebody in the past, way before you were a YouTube expert, okay, where you had this similar interest, and because of that interest and that obsession you had around that topic, you guys just talked and you have no context with that person? And before you talk to that person, did you think, you know what, I'm going to meet this random stranger later today, so I better have like a few points ready and like what I'm going to say? Have you had that moment ever happen where you run into a random person and because of your similar interests and this topic that you're obsessed with, you talk for a long time? You might not ever know them ever again, right? But you just like, oh man, we're on the same page. We are thinking the same way. And guess you already kind of confirmed it through digital, that guy that had the same camera.
Yeah. You know, you're right. And I think instead of maybe focusing on value, it's like what you're kind of saying is like, one of the most valuable things with social media is having shared interests.
100%.
Which it's like, forget the value, focus on what you said, the theme. Because that is what you're talking about, is when I talk with you, like, I know on this video, I'm not going to start talking about stuff that is not relevant to content creation, YouTube, social media. And that's very natural for us to do, right? And that, like you're saying, that happens in conversations when someone goes, oh, you collect Pokemon cards too. And then like you talk about that. Yeah. And that's what you're saying, is the value is in the theme and the topic.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
The definitions are just a little bit different. We're still trying to deliver value. How you think about what value is, we're lowering the bar for it. Not like in a way that it's going to lower the value for the viewer. In fact, guess what? There's going to be more value because it's going to be at the level of value you can deliver for the right kind of viewer, right? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you agree that YouTube is really good at getting the right video to the right viewer?
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have to work. We don't even have to optimize. You know what's crazy? Like, I don't even think tags matter. I kind of know that for a fact because, one, somebody at YouTube said this to my wife when she went to the Creator Summit that YouTube hosts, and she was sitting next to Jimmy, Mr. Beast, right? And they say, hey, anybody have questions? That was a question. But secondly, it's below the fold when you upload videos. Like, you have to go to the tags, okay? I bring up all that because there was an optimization process you had to go through to make sure your video got to the right people. And even before, what we taught in YouTube Secrets, right? What experts teach in courses, we're optimizing our production, right? And even before production, all the planning. What I'm telling you, Nolan, it's so easy that you don't even have to do any of that. That's why I went through my 3 T's, but even talked about how the algorithm's so good, because what I'm telling you is you just have to talk about the thing that you're interested in, that other people are interested in. See, the reason theme is so important is you just have to really isolate who it is you're trying to talk to, that this relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to create this relationship, right? And that's going to be the theme of the channel. I want to connect with other people that are obsessed with YouTube and content creation. Topic and takeaway. This isn't like even though I plan it, so the second way you find your topic and takeaway is just do a search underneath your theme, right? Start typing in words that relate to the questions people are asking, or what you would search, or what your audience would search. Okay. And you're just looking at what other videos are out there to kind of like get the juices flowing. And then the story is still the most important part, because would you agree with this or disagree? Part of what makes our conversations an hour, 2 hours, sometimes we've talked for 3 hours, is the stories we tell. So my method isn't just like, hey, how to get views on YouTube. It's also unlocking the thing you already do. People every day talk about things they're interested in, that other people are interested in, and they're already telling stories that reinforce that interest. You know, they call it the water cooler conversations, right? In an office, you're gathering around. Rarely are you talking about work. You're talking about maybe the game, right? Maybe you're both fans of the Seattle Seahawks. You know, we're from the Pacific Northwest. That's our team, okay? Or like, say you're on the weekends, you hang out with a buddy. You know, I have a buddy that I work out with at the gym. We can talk forever. We're like sending memes on Instagram all the time, and we could just talk for hours about that thing. We're already doing it. YouTube, because of the algorithm and technology, is allowing you to do it. And all you need to do, this is what I'm telling you, and it's actually working. You just need to talk about that thing. And it's different than what we wrote in YouTube Secrets and all those, things. Because let me ask you this. How many people do you know learned all those optimization techniques, learned all the strategies, took all the courses and read all the books, and aren't even uploading a video?
A lot.
So part of the new method that's key is not only that it's making it easier, I'm also just saying, do the thing that we almost undervalued. We were editing all this out. If you think about what a TikTok video is, okay, it's optimizing just for the value that is a bare bones necessary thing that people want to get for 30 seconds if they're, watching to get a laugh, right? Or they want to get a recipe. I'm saying put all this stuff back in there. That's why live streaming is working. Because live streaming, you're connecting with the right audience, because the technology, the algorithm is so good at lining you up. Now, to be fair, some of these famous live streamers are entertainers, okay? But I'm telling you, there's a whole world out there of people with only 10,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers, even less than that are just yapping and ranting about this one thing that they're interested in, and they're making money and they're becoming full-time creators. That's a whole nother thing we haven't really talked about. You don't have to have a huge audience, but you can still talk about the thing you love and make money doing it. Too many people want to be a 1 million subscribed channel. Nothing wrong with that, okay? But there's too many people that are trying to do that and quitting and not even starting, when if they just had 1,000 of the right subscribers, they could actually make money and become a full-time creator, or, support their business. Like you said, take care of your family.
One of the things that I was thinking about earlier on in the conversation, you were talking about like make a video about cherry tomatoes. And in my head, I'm like, you might get 10,000 views. Like, I don't know how to do some research. I'm like, you might get 10,000 views, but what you're saying is, and you've done, I don't know if you could, I would guess millions in brand deals. You've not told me, but I would just guess.
Well, for sure. We were doing 7 figures of brand deals year after year after year. So for sure.
And the thing that's cool though, like you're launching an agency as well to help people get brand deals, and you've done that for a long time. You've done a lot of brand deals. You've helped. I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because is there value in getting a couple thousand views, a video of a targeted audience? Like, is that real? Like, how does someone actually make a good income? Is it brand deals? Is it something else? It's not AdSense. I don't think someone's going to make a living on 10,000 views a video in AdSense, right?
Yeah, by the way, I just typed in cherry tomatoes gardening and I found a guy that is just saying my tips for growing cherry tomatoes, 190,000 views, okay? Topping and
Shorts
pruning
or long form?
long form. Topping and pruning cherry tomatoes, okay? 27,000 views. There's obviously lots of shorts, okay? But you know what's funny? This is one more distinction about my new strategy, and you come from the world of ranking videos, right? So all these videos.
Can I pause? Just
Yeah.
I want to be very clear. We haven't talked about this ton. I hate search,
Okay, cool.
and so we can talk about that later.
Oh
but
yeah,
like,
yeah. By the way, what I'm about to say is gonna like be on the same page.
so
with you, okay?
don't think I'm some optimized for search guy. I think if
I
you're
know,
if
I
you're
know. But guess what I'm
yeah.
gonna tell you, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I see all these videos, right? And you're probably thinking like, oh, okay, cool. So they, these people rank their videos. What does YouTube and the algorithm do after you watch 2 or 3 of these? And next time you pop up YouTube or you turn on your TV and you let the YouTube app just do its thing. Is it
Recommends you more of what you watched.
okay? But remember what we talked about on the TV.
Yeah.
What specifically are they
You're
going
saying
to?
long form. It's going to recommend more long form.
And does that long form need to be highly produced for you to watch it on the TV?
No, I would say I'm not going to watch something on the TV just because it's long form.
Yeah,
But
but
if I click on it and I want to hit play and like clean my house and listen to it or whatever, sit down and
Yeah.
watch it. And if it's like terrible and boring,
for sure.
I'm going to skip
By the way,
it.
those videos don't get up there because the algorithm's
Yeah.
already testing
Okay,
it.
yeah.
What my point is this:
Sure.
is there a good chance a cherry tomato piece of content might show up in the suggestions on the TV next time if I like search those and I look for those, or some kind of gardening related thing pop up on the TV?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. The new strategy isn't trying to rank for search. It's trying to be the suggested video afterwards, especially as a beginner. Nobody knows you, okay? And that's the thing. With my method, I'm not trying to make you this optimizer or this highly produced content creator. I just want you to create the type of content that people are going to watch afterwards. That was the big unlock for me because, and I'll tell you from my experience, Costco. Okay, that's like one of my pillar pieces of content. That wasn't a planned thing. It just happened organically. And what's funny is there's a ton of Costco creators. A lot of them are short form. There's a couple long forms. Super produced. They have a camera guy. They edit a lot. It's like optimized to tell you all the deals and this and that. Okay. When you search for Costco, you're seeing all their videos. But you know how often my video plays after them? A lot. Part of it is because I'm going long. Nobody's doing 30, 40, 50-minute videos, okay, of Costco content. So often a lot of my views aren't coming from my subscribers, right? Definitely some of my fans are watching or whatever. You know how many times I've run into people and say like, oh yeah, I'm not subscribed to you, but your videos just always pop up. My friends actually tell me that all the time, okay? Reason I bring this up is there's a huge window to just create vlogs around these topics that people used to rank for, and you just need to be the guy presenting the content, and it's in a longer format. And to do that, you want to vlog, and the easy way to do that is to rant or share stories or literally like talk about why you're obsessed about this thing. It doesn't have to be. And this is the guy that wrote YouTube Secrets with Sean Cannell, and I was coaching people forever. I almost gonna want to rip up the book, the game plan a little bit, and be like, don't worry about any of that.
YouTube Secrets 3rd edition.
It's just people want to continue obsessing over the things they're interested in, and you need to provide that content. And just like you and I are talking about YouTube, okay, but you were asking me about monetization, right?
Yes. Let me say one more thing though on search too, because I'll probably make a video deep diving into this deeper. And so I'll link it in the description, and I'll share like how to actually optimize for recommendations. But I'll give you the short version, and I just love to know your thoughts. But like, if you search a video, let's say you're going to search, I had a leak, right? So I'm like, how do I shut off the water valve in my house? I watched that video. I don't know that guy's name, and I'm not watching that again because it wasn't an interest of mine. Now, you said YouTube recommendations. It shows you the topics you're interested in. It shows you the stuff that you watch. If you watch sports stuff, you're going to get that. If you watch cooking stuff, you're going to get that. If you only optimize, I think search is a great way to find out what do people want to see from you. And that's what you mentioned. Go and search, and then that can spark ideas because then more views, it shows that there's maybe more demand on a certain topic. There might be more demand on cherry tomatoes than olives, as an example. I don't know, right? And so it's great for research. But I'm telling you, if you're still trying to rank videos in search, I don't even think it's going to be a thing in 5 years. I asked ChatGPT. I'm not people. People thought.
Oh, totally. I agree with that.
Videos used to be better than search on Google because, of course, I would rather see someone make the lasagna than tell me how to do it in a blog. So, of course, YouTube videos worked really well in search. Guess what? I don't want to watch anymore in 5 years is a YouTube video on a very search term. Like I'm trying to. No, I'm just going to go, hey, tell me, what. I'm searching through AI. I'm searching.
It gets even worse than that. Okay, so ChatGPT definitely, and I do this all the time. Instead of watching YouTube videos for like pad thai recipes, I just ask ChatGPT. But say I was going to watch a video, guess what I'm watching? Shorts.
Yeah, and they show up in search because people want the short answer.
So this is why
search is cooked.
Yeah, but if you want to do cooking videos, you have to do the complete opposite. You do the video that you have on while you're cooking the pad thai. So, I've done this. I've done a pad thai cooking vlog, but I'm not doing it. Remember, I started my food channel doing recipe tutorials. One of the reasons I quit is because it got so competitive. The writing was on the wall for me way before shorts, way before ChatGPT. I was like, there's no way I can compete against actual chefs and then kids. I have no kids, right? At the time I had 3 kids. Now I have 5 kids and have all the time in the world. And guess what? I was interested in all these other things. So I quit my channel. I literally just stopped uploading to it for like 3 or 4 years. And when I first started it up, I started with a shopping vlog at the grocery store because of Sam Solik. Okay. But I'm like, let me just try this with cooking. You know how many videos have popped off that took me 1/10 of the time to produce, almost no editing, and it's those cooking videos that you said people aren't watching, but it's different because it's a cooking vlog around the topic that normally you would have tried to rank for. I'm trying to be number 2. What I am trying to do, I'm not trying to rank for search. I am trying to be the suggested video afterwards when people are on the couch watching content, or in my case, this is what happens. I do actually look up content as I'm cooking. I like it just playing in the background because I want to get some of those tips. And I might watch the same video over and over, and sometimes I'll watch another video, right? Everyone's a little bit different. The point is this. We have these devices that are in our home, including like a laptop and a phone. By the way, long form, super long form works with the phone. We just need that content. No one's making it. Nobody's making the super long recipes or the super long things. You know who was doing it though? Podcasts. Podcasts prove people were willing to consume 1, 2, 3 hour long pieces of content. So there's another thing too.
It's like comfort food. You just put it on, and I've listened to vlogs, however you define that, in the car, like a podcast.
Let me ask you this. Do you want your comfort food videos to come from an expert or just somebody that you like listening to?
Someone that I would like listening to, if that is an expert, I think that's good.
You know how often it's not an expert? It's usually just somebody fun to listen to or someone that you can relate to. That's why I bring up the friends. Okay. And it's usually never an expert. Yeah. It's crazy. You know how many... Okay. Let me ask you, Nolan. When you first started doing film and video and just like production, did you have people in your life that are also starting out in that industry? They were complete amateurs. They were just like beginning that journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that were not experts. They were like you. They were just like learning.
yeah, but to be honest, like that I knew locally, not many.
Not many, but was there anybody like
But yes.
as you moved up in the industry and you're moving to different
yes.
areas? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But they weren't necessarily experts yet. They were just like on the grind. They're on the hustle.
Yeah,
They're in the trenches
totally.
with you.
I mean, of course, I knew way more of those people
Okay.
than experts.
Okay, for sure. And when you talk to them, could you talk to them for a whole hour?
Yeah.
Why? Why did you want to talk to them even though they're not an expert?
Right, because we literally just both loved filmmaking. We both loved cameras. And so,
Nolan,
yeah, it's just common interest.
That is all you need to do. It's blowing your mind right now because you're so used to
Yeah, no, you're right.
looking up the topics, right? You're like, I want to pre-plan everything. I want to make sure I bring enough value. You are going to bring enough value, but it's different. It's a different type of value. You just said it. You even proved my point. I'm either watching shorts, and guess what? These days, I just chat GPT it. Experts are dead. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know what is not dead, though? That person that you want to just relate to. You don't even think I want to relate to it. You just relate because you're a common interest and maybe the common like thread of your life of like, I'm a beginner or an expert. Okay. That's why there's opportunities for every single level. If you're an expert, most likely other experts are going to want to listen to you, right? Now, there's still a place for these people to share their wisdom and talk about these things. There's still going to be an economy for it, but it's shrinking. There's a reason why course sales are going down. This is why coaches are shutting down their businesses because ChatGPT and Shorts does it in an instant. Technology is so good. But you know what is growing is kind of like the amateur type of content, vlogs, right? Relatable stuff, or just longer videos. So I know I just went off on a rant. What I'm saying is everything we kind of thought about YouTube, you know, prior to 2020 is way, way behind us. And that's why I agree with you. Search and optimizing for search is kind of a waste of time because the algorithm in YouTube is so good that no matter what level of content you're creating, it will find the audience for you as long as you package it up correctly.
Yeah, it's making me think about it a lot differently because I'll tell you where my head goes, and this is going to tie us into making money from this. But I go, okay, let's say I just start this vlog. I start vlogging on my channel. And maybe there's videos like this. Maybe there's a video like this where I'm sitting in my backyard or I'm driving. I'm just talking about YouTube, the stuff I love, whatever. Part of me, I think like you have to define, I'm talking about myself as well, but just people in general. Why are you doing it in the first place? So
100%.
I'll be open and honest about this, which I think is another hack to relatability, but it's like sometimes experts are like, I don't know, they got a brand deal, sponsors, and they won't say what they really want to say.
Yeah.
And so I think if you can just be like, dude, I'll just tell you my honest thoughts on this, like, you know, ramen I'm cooking and like if it's good or not. Like people want honesty.
Totally. How many people you know that don't want honesty?
And yeah, people want the honest truth. And so my thought is this. I'm being honest saying on YouTube, is my goal to get 1 million subscribers? Not really. I actually just want to make a living. I want to provide for my family doing what I love. And I love talking to creators like you. I love helping people. That's what I do for a living is I help people grow their YouTube channels. And I'm like, I just want to make content, create things, and make a living from it. So that's kind of a tough one though, because you have to get over the fact that like this video doesn't need to go viral. I just want it to be helpful and grow my community. But then there's a level of how do I actually, if 5,000 views, if it's 10,000 views, how do I monetize it?
Totally. So let's talk about it because there's kind of two sides to this. There's a spectrum of view counts that you're going to get based off of the type of content you're creating, the audience that is wanting that content, and your ability to create the quality of that content to get more views. Okay. So if you're making 5,000 views because you're like talking about something super nerdy that only a small group of people, that's the reality people actually want to listen to. That's the reality you live in. Versus, say you're doing something a little bit more on the entertaining side. Maybe you're comedic, you make people laugh. It's still around a certain topic and takeaway, and you've got a theme. You might get way more views because the entertainment part of it will be more universally watched than that person that's a super nerd that's maybe not entertaining. Okay.
Different niches have different total addressable markets.
Of
just
course.
meaning like gardening is going to be smaller, like you said, than maybe something entertainment or sports.
For sure,
yeah.
okay? But there's a
Okay.
spectrum there based off of your skill level as well. See, what I'm also not naive to is just because I love vlogs and there's a lot of people that are wanting to vlog, right? There's still other piece of content that's highly produced that people are also watching. It's still competing for people's attention, okay? So you have to live in that reality. The other side is this. There's different ways to monetize based off of your content, based off your expertise, and based off of the amount of views you get. One of the monetization, like tools on YouTube is AdSense, right? The ads that play. Well, if you only
Would you show me how much you made in AdSense the past 30 days?
on this channel, yeah.
Any channel.
Yeah.
I'd love to know, and then once you tell me that, I have a follow-up. So past 30 days, which channel are you pulling up?
My channel.
So $5,000 in the last 30 days. Yep. If you were to create a pie chart, what percentage of this pie is AdSense?
It's a small percentage. AdSense is, so this is what I mean by
less than 10%?
Well, it depends on the month, right?
Okay.
Because it just depends on when we take deals. Like, say we're traveling, we're not going to do as many brand deals.
Okay.
But generally speaking, it's going to go anywhere between 10 and 50%. But it's almost majority our income is made from brand deals. So, but the reason I bring this up in this good question for you is it all depends on your situation, but it all starts with what is your goal. Okay. So I have a student. That student that I told you about, her name is Carrie, by the way. When we coach people, we ask them, like, before you get into any of this, why are you doing this? How much money do you want to make? What is like the thing that you're trying to accomplish beyond money, right? What's the lifestyle? It gets kind of like personal or whatever. Sure. And we don't have to get too detailed, but it's really important to understand, okay? Because if you're trying to get famous, well, dude, if you're working around like a theme that has a limited audience, it's going to be hard to do. You're going to have to learn some new skills. You're going to have to be more entertaining. You might have to do those challenges or whatever. For me, I always say, like, fit the content to what is genuinely the most natural for you to create content around.
Say that again.
Create the content that is going to be the most natural fit for the thing that you're genuinely interested in and have fun doing, and that you can speak to unlimited. Okay. I actually believe a lot of people.
That's probably key why you've done this for so long, right?
That's one of our secrets.
Yeah.
We're literally just talking about the thing that we love and that we care about. And that's why Judy went through this arc, right? She started with beauty, then she did family, and then she had a mom channel. Did you know that? She had a third mom. Know. It was called It's Mommy's Life because that was her thing. And then we went back to the family vlog. For me, I even went through that arc. I had video influencers at one point. I did recipe videos, but I have no problem retiring those and starting new channels and pursuing that. Right now, I'm doing food vlogs, okay? So if going back to the example of Carrie.
Okay.
She just wanted to make enough money coaching people. That's it. So views weren't as important, but of course she wanted views, like she wanted love. She's got videos that got tens of thousands of views. She has a video that's done like 350,000 views. Okay. She is definitely now coaching people. Okay. But she didn't need that many views to get those coaches. In fact, the algorithm's so good that it will get you the right people. So the reason I bring that up is you have to ask yourself, what are the monetization strategies that fit best for your lifestyle and what you can offer? Because, like, for example, You don't want to offer a service that you can't speak to, right? Like, because you
Right.
think, because I get views, I'm going to be able to do this, like coaching or this service or whatever. So you have to do the research on that. But what I definitely know is a lot of brands are looking for content creators that make longer piece of content for the right audience. Because another thing I do understand, some people will get 1 million views and make no sales. Some people will have 1,000 views and get 100 sales. So that's why the theme is so important, because if you're aligned with the audience that you want to connect with and you're creating the content they want to watch, there's a lot of brands that will work with you even if you don't have a huge, subscribe channel.
So for someone starting out, if they were to, like, I want to take this seriously and vlog and grow this thing, would you say brand deals is kind of the easiest or best path for them to take? And when should they expect to either reach out to brands or brands reach out to them? Because it sounds like it's there's a lot of factors to play into it. But if you could just speak to it like that.
So I'm biased, but for good reason. Brand deals are just some of the most lucrative ways to make money. It's not the only way, right? But the reason...
Can I tell you, I started a faceless channel.
Yeah.
And I had, I think at the time, 20,000 subscribers, but I was getting a ton of views.
Yeah.
I was posting maybe once a month.
Okay.
I don't know how. I landed my first brand deal, $15,000 brand deal on that channel.
You want to know why brands sponsor creators? There's two. One is an obvious reason. Second's not as obvious. What do you think the number one reason why a brand would sponsor somebody?
Because they get traffic, eyeballs, attention.
Specific traffic, right? Like
Yeah.
customers.
Sure.
The second reason is because they're not good at creating content. You know what's nuts about short form creators right now? How many people are working for free? And it's because there's so many competing for these brand deals, but these brands love short form creators, not just because they're working for free, because they're creating them content, because brands can't do it.
And they'll use them as ads too in the short form game, right?
So the reason I bring that up is if you're a content creator, you have a value right from the get-go if you know how to create good content. The views are like secondary, but if you can know how to create good content. Now, this is the thing. If you create quality content, you're going to get views, right? If it's like a market match, right? Like the stuff you're doing, you're following the 3 T's, you got the theme, you know who you're targeting, you know who you are, and then you've got topic and takeaway, you got vlogs that those people want to watch, and you're telling stories and you're keeping their attention, right? And so brands love that because that's not what they're good at. They actually need you. And you remember that graph you showed me earlier about YouTube being beyond Netflix and all these other streaming platforms? Kind of the big thing that's happening that no one really understands. All those advertisers that were advertising in the TV world, they're still advertising on the TV, but not on cable television, not on broadcast. They're advertising on the streaming platforms. And if YouTube is the number one, where do you think the number one place they're going to spend money is at? Now, that is just from AdSense.
Is it there yet, or are brands still catching up to that?
It's like, I think it's parity. It's like, it's the same. But I'm not an expert in that world. What I can tell you is this.
Because I see different ads on, like, when I'm watching Survivor, you know, and like watching cable or broadcast than I do on YouTube. But I think there's, like, I wouldn't be surprised, and we'll get to the new brand thing that YouTube just announced, where like the commercials that you see when you're watching a Hulu show or Netflix, I don't think Netflix has commercials, but Hulu show, I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing those big brands in YouTube brands, like you literally in the vlog doing that commercial break.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised to see more and more of those kind of like brands that maybe aren't onto the level of like YouTube brand deals yet. Influencer marketing.
Yeah. I think that it's all kind of the same thing. It's just the method at which these brands want to advertise, right? Like some people want to do the pre-roll or the commercial Google AdSense. Some people want the ad spot, and some people want it to be organic. That whole function of being able to swap out the brands. I don't know if we want to talk about that. I actually thought it was
just fill people in though, because YouTube just announced this brand. I don't even think it's rolled out for most people yet.
So let me take you back though to like 2 years ago. Derral Eves at a VidCon said, "Hey Benjj, did you know that YouTube's going to have this new function where that you can skip your ad spot in your video, right? It's going to make brand deals worthless." He said something like that.
Oh, where you can like trim them out?
No, where you can just jump ahead.
There's a skip button.
Skip button, okay? Huh. I was like, oh, that's smart. They're trying to like make it easier for the viewer to skip that, okay? And why I wasn't worried at the time, almost all my brand deals, it's integrated into the creative. It's not like a ad read.
It's not a 30-second break.
We've never done that. We've always integrated into our content organically. So like I just did one with an appliance company, and it's the whole episode. The whole episode is around it. It used to be called like a dedicated video. Now it's kind of the same thing, but it's creatively palatable. So you can't skip it because it's integrated so many different spots, but I make it so it's interesting and that's why brand alignment is really important. But the reason I'm bringing it up is that skip ahead function was a setup for what they're doing right now, because a skip ahead button means that they're training the AI to know where that spot is, because guess what you can do now? You can put in a new ad spot where that ad read was. Okay? So the thing that
just to be clear though, to my understanding, how this is going to work is more like an ad break.
Yes, it's going to be more like an ad break,
which I think will increase the value of what these integrated that you can't cut out. It will increase the value of that, because let's say
do you think they're going to have a skip forward button on that section?
I think they'll maybe imagine this. Imagine they're watching this right now, and I'm like, this, guys, I want to tell you about vidIQ. I think this would be crazy. You can't skip forward during this part.
Yeah, because it would make it more valuable.
4, 3, 2, 1, and then if you want to, you can fast forward again, or just keep watching.
Do you understand?
That would be crazy.
It was all a setup to make that function that they're rolling out now more valuable, because you can't skip over it. What does this mean for creators though? Because do you think? But guess what? Nothing changes.
I think creators will make no. I think creators are gonna make way more money because of this.
I think that you have the potential to sell spots that are dated and behind you. That yes, if you have a content that's evergreen that still gets views, yes, you could potentially sell those spots. I agree with you, right?
Can I throw one idea at you?
Yeah, sure.
So family channel, yes. 15 grand in AdSense.
Yeah.
Basically, YouTube charged advertisers 30 grand to play ads during your guys' family vlogs.
Yes.
Okay. Is it not more valuable to, instead of an ad break for their brand of some random person, to have an ad break on all your videos like they're doing, but it's filmed you guys. It's you guys recommending their product in the middle of your video that is either skippable or not skippable, whatever. That to me, they already paid YouTube 30 grand for that. Isn't that worth more? When it say, hey,
it's definitely worth
pay
more.
Us 30 grand for the month, and I'm gonna put you on all my brand integrations on the channel live at once.
It's definitely more valuable. What I'm saying is, brand deals were always super valuable, and they were just there. It was inevitable. Why do you think YouTube is doing this? Do you think they're doing it for charity, or are they doing it because they're going to make more money?
Yeah, because they're gonna take cuts, huh?
Why? Of course they're going to take cuts, but why do you think this is a thing? YouTube knows about television. They know about advertisers. Let me tell you another story, okay? You know Austin, right? He's helping me with my my creator company and coaching creators with me. 10 years ago, we went to VidCon together, and he was a younger man back then, like bushy-tailed, bright-eyed, and he was like, when I first met you, like videographer, shooting, editing, all that kind of stuff. And we sat there and we listened to Susan Wojcicki give a whole keynote. Rest in peace. Amazing CEO. I love what she's done for the platform. In that presentation, there was one slide, and it showed the amount of demand for YouTube content, like the amount of views, right? But then the amount that advertisers spending, and then it showed the amount of demand for television, and it was like way lower, but the amount of ad spend comparatively, which is way higher. Okay, that was 10 years ago. But she said, one day this is gonna balance out. So when I said parity is here, okay. See, YouTube has been paying attention to this for a decade. Now, the TV thing, I think, just came out of left field to a certain degree. They always were fighting for that television spot because YouTube TV, they knew it was coming, but it came with a vengeance. It went from 2023 being like 10 or 15% of devices are watching through the television to now it's the majority. Majority of YouTube is watched on TV. Did you know that?
Yeah, in the U.S. more than mobile.
It's the number one,
which is crazy. So the
device. Okay, so
mobile must be second.
Hear me out. If you know this is coming, right? You know that more advertisers are going to use your thing. Is it kind of like safe to say they probably thought brand deals would become more common and more lucrative for creators?
For sure. And
don't you want a piece of the pie for YouTube?
Yeah, I mean they have brand connect. So so they're tying it all together, right? So
yes.
This dude, we should probably. I would love to like film another one of these another day where we go deep on this, because I think we could go so deep on brands, because I mean, honestly, big picture, I just think it's going to get easier and easier for people watching this to make a living creating content, which is super exciting.
Yes.
Of course, YouTube's trying to take their chunk of the pie as a business. That's what they're trying to do. So they have Brand Connect. They're going to connect you with brands. And now they have the tool to easily submit the video. You get it approved. Boom. It's running on all your videos for a month or however long you agree to. They're making it easy to connect with the brand and get them in your videos. They're going to take a chunk. I don't know what that looks like. I could only imagine it's 50%.
Yeah.
Because that's what they take right now from advertisers, or it's something like that. It's around 50. What I think will be interesting, is that's awesome and easy, but take some of the money, whatever. You could just hire a brand manager. You're starting a brand agency, and so it's like usually they'll take anywhere from
talent management.
Talent management.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
So but like I've heard it go as high as 30%, which is still less than 50. What's pretty common, I feel like, is 20%.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like brand deals, it seems maybe obvious, but just will continually become more and more integrated. The ad spots, there's all these kind of different things you can do, which I think overall is exciting for YouTubers. And like you're saying, in this new vlogging style of YouTube, it's just more opportunities to make money. And it's really why you should stick to the theme and do all these steps.
Totally.
And it will lead to the income. If
like
you do
my whole vlogging method comes from kind of not only what I learned recently, but what I've seen work for our channel. Number one, for Judy and I as creators. 2, for the audience. And 3, to get the best brand deals that are positioned for our audience and the content that we create. So the vlogging method naturally leans itself to set you up to do brand deals with the companies, even in a competitive space. And this is where it gets interesting. Telling stories makes you unique, so that your audience has a special relationship with you, so that you have less competition in the marketplace of YouTube, but also in the marketplace of brand deals. One of the things I learned about Judy that makes her really special is she is super authentic, and also integrity drives her. If she doesn't like a product, she will not work with it, right? If it's not a product that would be good for her audience, she's not going to work with them. So there's a trust that her audience has with her, and that has made her attractive to brands, right? That reputation. Yeah. So when you do that, right? You'll say no to a lot of deals. So a lot of creators, especially beginners, they say yes to everything because they want all the money. But if that relationship starts dwindling and the trust is lost, then you're not going to get as many deals because you won't convert as much. People aren't buying. They're not clicking on the links. So you want to do less brand deals and do the bigger brand deals. How do you do that? You're super authentic. You're connected with the right audience, and you can do it a lot. And so brand deals, it's here to stay, okay? You have the choice. You're going to be a commercial or this, like new ad spot, or are you going to do an integrated brand deal? I actually think that's going to grow even more because it's becoming, commonplace to do brand deals with creators. And creators are just getting more savvy about doing it. Like I never did those like full integrations before. It was always like a part of my vlog.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting really good because I'm working with brands I enjoy. Oh, a good example is this. I'm right now talking to a grocery store. I told you one of my pillars.
Can you tell us or no?
No, I can't because we're in the middle of the talks. But what I'm saying is I'm going to vlog me at the grocery store. Can you skip that?
No,
it's the entire vlog.
Right.
It's literally the entire vlog. So what I'm saying is even the topic, right? I told you about appliances, right? You know that sometimes you can just do a vlog about the appliance and there's people that would organically watch it because why? You have a piece of product in your kitchen, right? Have you ever looked up a video like of other people using that to know how to do the coffee with that espresso machine? I'm saying at one point, people are going to make vlogs just on time. By the way, I did that with that espresso machine.
You did.
I have it. And guess what? 100,000 views. And that's just off of one product. So if that brand sponsored that vlog, would that be a win for that brand? And would it be skippable by the audience? Would they want to skip it? No, because I'm doing the same thing as what I would do in a brand deal, except it's just aligned with the right audience because it's around the topic that they're interested in.
You know the difference between you and I?
What?
I just make coffee, but you get paid to make coffee.
Yeah, but also I'm obsessed with coffee, right? To the point where I have the best beans in the world because there's a place in Seattle that roasts the best espresso beans. And I make coffee like a lot and for a lot of people, especially my wife, and I want to make it literally perfect. And third, I'm genuinely interested about it. So why I get paid to make coffee is because that is my obsession. Coffee's not your obsession. You get paid for your obsession, which is YouTube content production, and of course, marketing and working with people that want to use this platform to market their business.
I want to ask you, like, if you were to really just give your best advice to someone starting out, what would that advice be?
Number one, all the old rules are out the door. Like you said, ranking for search, that is not like a worthwhile strategy because it's so competitive. And shorts, there's just a ton of competition. And ChatGPT and AI is just so good that's replacing all those type of videos. So don't do it the old way. Think about this new era and do it the new way, okay? So the rules are completely different. Secondly, having fun while creating content is so important. If you don't have fun doing it, it's going to be hard to make it sustainable. That's one of our secrets. Why Judy was able to do 7 days a week for so long, for 7 years, because she genuinely loved it. She goes upstairs after putting all the girls down, right, into her bed, pops a laptop open and edits because she loves what she's editing. So if you start from a place of love, passion, and obsession, you're going to have a way better time versus the other person that's forcing it, right? Because they think this is the way they're going to make money and it's not sustainable. Judy will out-sustain you, okay? And the third thing that I would say, if I were to pick the horse you want to bet on, longer videos. Think about how you can create content for that TV viewer, which is also still the tablet, the computer, and the phone, but there's a ton of demand for longer videos.
What length to you is longer?
Well, I don't put out arbitrary numbers, right? Because It can be different lengths based off of your skill level and what you can actually create. But what I would say is anything under 10 is not worth doing. By the way, so this is Vlogtober, right? I posted my first video up for Vlogtober. And it's just an old video that I had that I haven't done because I was on my way to drive to you. Okay. So I couldn't do a vlog. I have a proper vlog coming out here, but it's a 6-minute video. Okay. It's probably my worst performing video I've ever put up on my channel. And a year and a half ago, it wouldn't have been my worst performing video, but my channel's built such an authority around longer content, and my audience wants longer videos. So the people are voting, they want longer videos. So anything under 10, for me personally, I'm like, try to hit that 10-minute mark. But you know what I'm trying to hit? 30 minutes. I actually think the sweet spot on YouTube personally is between 30 and 60 minutes. Now, ask yourself why 30 and 60 minutes is such a key amount of time.
Why?
Well, let me ask you, you know those Saturday morning cartoons that you had to watch, how long were they?
Yeah, 30 minutes.
30 minutes. How long is a movie? At least. At least an hour,
yeah,
right?
At least an hour, 90
or 2
minutes.
hours.
Yeah,
exactly. So there is this behavior of watching content. So when we see that 30 minutes, it's almost like, think about our day. We plan it out in like 30-minute time slots, right? Half an hour or a full hour or like 2 hours. So if you do that, if there was an arbitrary number that I would suggest, the reason I say like don't just do it because you don't want to force 30 minutes.
That makes sense.
If it needs to be 22 minutes, it's going to be 22 minutes because that's all the content you have, and you don't want to just like have like the camera just going. Though that video I saw in 2020 that I ran up to my wife to show her, right, Judy, was like 50 minutes and it had 1 million views. And there's definitely shots in there that personally I thought weren't entertaining, but for the right person that's interested in the same thing, 100% entertaining. You want the nuance, you want the in between that was not allowed. And so this is what I'm saying: make longer videos around the thing that you love, and you'll be surprised at the success you could have even if you're a complete beginner.
I might try, some like working some of the strategy into my stuff as I come back. Just had my third baby boy under 3. And so what I love about this is it feels very natural, and I could definitely see how this could be very sustainable. Just thinking about like the season I'm in, I'm like, I don't really want to like edit these crazy videos and spend a ton of time. Like I'd rather just bullet point something, and whether it's a podcast, a vlog, whatever it is, I like this a lot. And I think it's really sparked a lot of ideas for me. And I'm sure people watching are like, taking notes, I'm like going to have to go back and take notes. I will say this about Benjj. Not only do I think you're a YouTube genius.
Whoa, YouTube genius.
Well,
no
dude,
one's ever
listen,
called me that.
Listen.
Tell Judy that.
I'll tell Judy you're a YouTube genius, but what is a genius anyways?
Yeah, I know, right?
But no, you're super smart when it comes to all this stuff, and you've just done it for so long. And so, but the main thing I love about you, Benjj, is you have high standards, and you're such a you're very consistent, and you're just a really good dude. You're a really good friend, really good man. People don't know this, but when I got fired almost 2 years ago, Benjj came out here and just hung out, cooked a steak for Alejandro and I. And yeah, man, it was really cool. Just like, I mean, you've done more than that, but
can I say one thing?
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you complimenting me. I don't want to take
I just
away
want people
from
to know
it.
you're a good dude, not just an awesome mind as well.
Yeah. And so if there's any credit to be given, one of my skills when it comes to YouTube and social media and just this creator economy is seeing what's coming up in the future. And that's done because I have friends like you, right? I have a lot of creator buddies that tell me what they're observing. And so I just piece all those things together and I see the full puzzle. Everyone has the different pieces. So when I say we're in a new era, the TV era, that was from all those different experiences. And I've been in this for 17 years now. I'm like, this is happening. And I'm telling everybody. So I appreciate what you said about me, but it's all these really smart people and these successful creators that are telling me. And so this is what I want to leave the audience with. The game has completely changed, and the playing field is even, because even the beginners that I coach are getting more views than me. Okay, because
With less subscribers?
with less subscribers, almost all the people that apply my new vlog method 100% get more views and subscribers, which I can't even say, right? Because my channel's so old and I've got a lot of, older subscribers. When I say older, not by age, just so like they subscribed 10 years ago, not interested in this anymore. And that's what I'm saying. You don't have to overthink it. And that is not genius. That's just YouTube being better, the algorithm being super powerful, and people wanting authentic, genuine content, including conversations like this. So I hope you create content. I'm creating content because I thought I was like done. I thought I was cooked, literally. Like there's no way I can compete. And what I just said is making it possible for even me, an old fogey in this game, to succeed at YouTube. And literally anybody can do it too. You just got to get comfortable on camera talking about the thing you're interested in.
Which you do that by doing it.